What's going on? What's going on, everybody? This is Dr. Hollie Mayes on this edition of Morning Manna. Listen, man, I am excited about the show today. Did y'all catch the show yesterday? I pray y'all caught the show yesterday, man. Yesterday, man, was just an awesome show. We had my friend, my brother, Dr. Terrence Haynes. We were still dealing with the subject, which we're still dealing with today, guys. We're still dealing with growing up without a father. Does it really matter? Does it really make a difference? Part two. And listen, before we do anything, man, I want you guys to make sure that you are truly engaged in this. I want you to invite people. I want you to share this because a lot of great information, a lot of great statistics. We went over a lot of things yesterday, that I believe was extremely valuable. Okay, and once again, I think it was very valuable, and it was important. It was pertinent information. So listen, guys, I want you to make sure that you are chiming in. Before we do anything, I want to make sure that you guys catch Bishop Chronicles podcast every single Monday at 11 a.m. on YouTube, and we will filter it from YouTube to Facebook Live. Man, we are doing so many things. God is truly doing a great thing with Bishop Chronicles podcast, so make sure that you guys check us out every Monday at 11 a.m. Also want to give a shout out to JSC Productions, Miss Sophia Edwards over there, man. Graphics are just off the chain, man. I'm so thankful for these guys. So if you need graphic work done, please make sure you reach out to her, 214-916-8657. And more than anything, man, I want to give a shout out to WPS Studios, Dr. Vanille Warren. Thank you guys so much for being open and being so passionate about my vision over at WPS Studios, 900 East Beltline Road, DeSoto, Texas, 75115. All your videography needs, film needs, get with those guys. Man, I'm telling you, man, the rates are second to none, so they will make your vision come alive. But listen, we are still dealing with growing up without a father. Doesn't really matter. Okay, growing up without a father doesn't really matter. So, one of the things we're going to be talking about today, and I apologize. I wanted to have Bishop Haynes on this morning, but I'm sure that he will call in. But listen, before we connect with Bishop Haynes, man, I want to talk about something leaving off yesterday. And one of the things we were talking about was stepfathers. You know, because sometimes, I have to say that both of my sons, all of my sons have stepfathers. And one of the things that, I had to come to grips with, which was very hard for me, was that, there are great stepfathers out there. And a lot of times, they have to carry the burden, and I don't mean it like it sounds when I say burden, but they do have to carry the tough task of raising a child because the biological father is nowhere around. And whatever the reason is, whether the biological father's not around because they're just not, in the same state like me and my kids are, or, the mother and the father don't get along, or whatever the case, the father could be deceased, whatever the case may be. So real quickly, man, I just want to talk about the value of stepfathers. Y'all know here on Daily Manna, we love to make sure that, man, we kick out some great motivation. But I want to give a shout out to all the stepfathers out there, man, because let me tell you something. If it were not for stepfathers, man, I don't know what a lot of children would do, man. And there's some great stepfathers out there. And I really want to give a shout out to those guys that have stepped up and said, hey, listen, I want to be in your life. And because I'm in your mother's life, I want to be in your life. And they take the bull by the horns. We're not talking about those dads that just, just because you married the mom, you just at the house. We're talking about those that said, hey, listen, I'm going to take on the responsibility of literally saying, I'm your dad. I know I'm not your biological dad, but I'm going to take the precedence. I'm going to step up, and I'm going to, take that place while your biological dad is not there. But how valuable is that? How valuable is it to still have that person there? Or do you guys think that you still need to have the biological father there? If the stepfather has stepped up, does that really take the place of the biological father? Well, I can answer that. Okay, so my son, I have a son. Y'all know me. I'm very transparent. I have a son that is in Seattle, Washington. Okay, and the state. And Jeff, a nice guy, great guy, has stepped up, and I'm not there. I'm not able to be there every day. So he's been a wonderful father to my son. Now, I talk to my son, and interact with him and everything, but I'm not there every single day. And my son has had some behavioral issues. But I had to ask. I was talking to his mother yesterday, and she gave me some news yesterday, which I won't share on the broadcast. But she let me know some things. And I was like, man, but he has a father figure in the house. He has, somebody that he could go to. But she told me, she said, yeah, but it's not the same when you're not there. You understand what I'm saying? And even though we understand the reality that I can't really be there because you're in a totally different state, maybe 3,000-4,000 miles away, but still though, it takes a toll. So in saying that, even though the stepfathers are there, and that's a wonderful thing that they're doing, wonderful job. Hey, listen, I take my hat off to the stepfathers, stepmothers. I really do. Is that enough? Does it really matter wholeheartedly that the biological father is there? Does it really matter? I mean, like I said, and I had to ask that. I was like, man, he has a stepfather there. He has that man person there, so I'm not understanding what the problem. But there's nothing like your biological father. And let me explain to you why scientifically. So I was talking to a group of doctors yesterday, and I was asking them, I said, well, listen, I'm doing a show, and I explained to them about the show. They said, well, great, let's sit down, let's talk. So over conference call, we were talking for about an hour, and they told me something I did not know. Okay, and I want you guys to get this. And once again, this is not a knock on stepfathers. This is not a knock on, the fact that a biological father is in another state. But I need you to understand this physiologically and anatomically. Because they share your genes, they share your DNA, they share, watch this now, your chromosomes, your blood, they share your lineage, they share. It's so much of you in them, they need you there to feel complete. Real talk, anatomically and physiologically. I can talk to my son every single day. I can send him, I just got the phone with one of my oldest sons a few minutes ago. But nothing, because of the DNA makeup, because of the physiology and anatomy, because of the neurological compatibility, they literally, for real though, they need you there in person. I did not know that. I did not know anatomically and physiologically, medically, that your children need you there physically because of y'all DNA connection. Like real talk, they need to feel your touch. They need to feel your love. Love can also be something you could feel. You know what I'm saying? Now they can hear you, and yeah, you could FaceTime and do all those things. But I had no idea of something called the aura of presence. Y'all hear what I'm saying? This is powerful stuff. This is powerful stuff. The aura of presence. Okay? And what that means is yes, I can see you, I can understand what you mean, but there's nothing like the aura of presence. That means that I can see what you're saying, but I can't feel what you're saying. I can hear what you mean, but I can't feel what you mean. I know you love me because you do things, and you're my dad, I get it, or you're my mom, I get it. But I can't feel the love. I need to feel the compatibility of DNA that is between us. Real talk. And y'all don't understand how powerful this is. I am dead serious. This is so powerful. And it's not taught because, watch this, it's not taught because a lot of people don't want to take responsibility for the lack of. They don't want to take responsibility for the fact that no one is there. Real talk. I am dead serious. So when I learned about the aura of presence, then that taught me about how valuable it is for for me to be around my son. It was valuable for me to be around my son. And to be honest with you, listen, it's valuable for him to know that I want to be around him. You understand what I'm saying? It's valuable, okay? So real quickly, man, we're going to get into the aura of presence once again, but I'm going to go to a real quick commercial break, and you guys hang with me, okay? All right, peace. Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Dr. Hollie Mayes with Human Faith Empowerment Center and also Bishop Chronicles Podcast. Hey, guys, we want to thank you from the bottom of our heart, man, for being a great supporter of our show. Man, I've heard your comments, man. I've seen your text messages, and you guys are just so inspirational. But now I want to reach out to all the businesses that have been hitting me up. Listen, we have a sponsorship program for you. For as little as $30 a week, listen, we will give you a spotlight. We will make sure that you can come on the show and showcase your product. We want to help you grow. We want to help you get to the next level. So we want to make sure that we provide programs and packages that not only are economical, but they also allow our show and your business to build a relationship and also be able to go to the next level together. So listen, continue to support the show, continue to send your comments, continue to uplift Christ wherever you go. Make sure you guys are subscribing to our YouTube channel, and please make sure you're following us on Instagram and Facebook. But more than anything, if you are a business and you have a project, if you are a music entrepreneur, if you are an artist and you have an event or you have a project that you're getting ready to do, if you are a ministry and you have an event that you're getting ready to showcase, listen, we want to help you. We want to build you up and we want to grow with you. Let us work for you, okay? But once again, we thank you. We love you. And on behalf of Bishop Chronicles Podcast, listen, God bless you. And listen, we look forward to working with you guys. I'm out of here, guys. All right, we're back, guys. Thank you so much. Listen, before we left, we were talking about the aura of presence. We were talking about the aura of presence. We're still dealing with growing up without a father. Does it really matter? We're on part 2 of this segment. But listen, the aura of presence, I really want to home in on this because people say all the time, and I'm going to be honest with you. I thought because a stepfather was in the house, that would make up for me being in the house. I'm just going to throw it out there. A lot of people don't have to agree with me, but I'm telling you what I thought. And I thought that my son could still get the father feel because he had a stepfather in the house until I talked with some doctors yesterday, and I said this previously before the break, and they taught me about something called the aura of presence. The aura of presence means that, yes, I see you, but I don't feel you. I know you're my dad, but I don't feel you. I don't feel the emotion. I don't feel the aura, the love, the compassion, the empathy and sympathy that comes off of you because of the compatibility of our DNA. Real talk. And I didn't realize that's what makes, listen to what I'm saying, y'all. That's what makes a lot of children go haywire because they don't feel. And we try to tell them all the time. We try to tell them, hey, listen, I love you and this, that, and that. But if they don't feel loved, hear what I'm saying. If they don't feel loved, then you could buy them all the gifts you want. You could talk to them every single day. That's why it's important to make sure that you are involved with your children personally. You're involved with your children in person because it's valuable for them to feel like you love them. They may know that you love them, but if they don't feel loved, and that was that aura of presence. So, as much as I respect stepfathers and, this, that, and the other, and, they have to feel that. So if there is a biological father or mother there, then guess what? They have to make sure that that's how important it is for you to be in the presence of your child because they have to feel like. You understand what I'm saying? And watch this. If they don't feel like you love them, then guess what? They will act out based on the lack thereof. So when the doctors told me that, they said, well, you can have a stepfather, you can have an uncle, you can have a male figure, but until they totally disconnect, hear what I'm saying? Until the child disconnects from the idea of linking up with their biological father, they will always need that biological father there. And listen, let me explain to you how I know this is true. Because when I was with my mom, I always wanted my dad. And I had a stepdad. You know, he's pretty cool. Rest in peace to Tommy Man. But I had a stepfather, man, and he was a cool dude. You know what I'm saying? But I always wanted to be with my dad. I wanted to connect with my dad. I wanted to go fishing with my dad. I wanted to go play baseball and all this stuff with my dad. And watch this, though. No matter what Mr. Man did, no matter whether he bought me something, no matter whether, and I respected him, but he wasn't my dad. And even though I might have talked to my dad on the phone, I needed him there. It wasn't until my dad started interacting with me that I began to kind of straighten myself up, because I was going on a bad path. You understand what I'm saying? Because watch this, emotionally, I was still wanting my real dad. You know, even though I had other male role models, I guess, but I wanted my dad. I wanted my dad to be my role models. That's why I tell my children right now, listen, you don't need to have LeBron James or none of these other guys as your role model. I'm going to live a life to where I can be your role model, where you can look up to me and say, hey, I don't want to be about like nobody else. I want to be like my dad. I want to be like my dad. That's my role model. So it was extremely important for me to get a connection with my dad. It was extremely important for me to feel like my dad loved me and my dad wanted to be with me and my dad really wanted to care about me. Because watch this, no matter what my stepdaddy did, no matter what my uncles and all them did, it never took the place of the longing for my father. And that's why it's important. So, you know, does it really matter? Absolutely it matters that a father is in the place. And watch this. It not only matters emotionally, but watch this now. It also matters legacy-wise. Hear what I'm saying? That's a very powerful word, legacy. Because watch this. If you have a son, that is your legacy. And it is imperative that your son understands legacy. Now watch this. I'm not knocking daughters. But it's valuable for the young men to have their fathers in their life, because they need to understand legacy, because legacy denotes two things. Legacy denotes strength and longevity. Strength and longevity. Hear what I'm telling you, okay? If your son understands that he is a part of legacy, then he will also understand the value of being strong and having longevity and being strong for a long time and creating a lengthy ability for your family to thrive for years to come. Okay, so real quickly, man, I hope that was powerful for you, man, because it was really powerful when the doctors talked about, you know, the aura of presence, man. The aura of presence. They having to feel you. Real quickly, I want to switch gears, and I want to talk about the value of other types of fathers, okay? Because I don't want to bash anyone. I don't want to leave, you know, anybody out, because I get it. Biological fathers are not always there. They're just not, okay? And because biological fathers are not always there, I understand that you know, sometimes there has to be a replacement. And when I say replacement, I don't mean that anybody could ever replace your biological father, but because that's DNA, okay? That's DNA in there, okay? And women, y'all quit making children think that this man can replace their biological father. No, he can't, because I have something that he doesn't have, okay? All right, and I'm not trying to be funny, but we have to make sure that we understand the value of the child understanding, wait, hold on, you have a part of your father in you, okay? You have a part of your father in you. And too many times there are women that make the children think, oh, okay, well, your father was this, your father was that. Wait, hold on, you have to understand, part of that child is the father. And we can never forget them, because I always tell people, don't get mad at the father now because he ain't in your life or this, that, and the other. You slept with him. You laid down with him. So don't try to make it seem like that daddy is all bad, because whatever was going on, he wasn't so bad when you laid with him. So whatever DNA is in that child, part of it is the father. And part of that came from the father, part of that you liked enough to lay down with him and have a baby. I'm just being honest with you. All right, so you know, women don't like having this conversation with me. But let's switch gears, because I want to talk about other different types of fathers. I want to talk about different types of fathers that can be relevant in the lives of young men and young women. Okay, the first thing I want to talk about, we talked about stepfathers. I'm in debt to stepfathers for my children. I'm in debt to them. Okay, I am. Jeff, I'm in debt to him. Robert Allman, I'm in debt to you, sir, for being there when I couldn't be there physically for my children. And I don't want a stepfather to feel like you don't deserve that, because you do. You do, okay? The next thing I want to talk about, guys, is the value of spiritual fathers. Okay? Spiritual fathers, okay? Which is a covering. Remember, the name of the show is Growing Up Without a Father. Okay? But I didn't say what type of father. Because sometimes, watch this now, just like biologically you need a father, now you need a father supernaturally. You need a father spiritually. Some of you have the connection, just like you spiritually, the same way you have a connection with your biological father. Let me explain something to you. My dad was my biological father, but he was not my spiritual father. So on one side, on the earthly realm, my DNA matches Raymond Mayes, okay? But on the spiritual realm, my DNA has to match Dr. Vanille Warren's. You understand what I'm saying? And the reason why that has to happen is because just like my dad was to groom, grow, develop, and build me in a natural sense, my spiritual father is to groom, grow, develop me, and build me in a spiritual sense. So a lot of times we talk about the DNA of the natural, but we don't want to talk about the DNA of the spiritual. And I want to really hone in on the value of spiritual fathers, because they have the same value as a biological father. I treat my spiritual father like he's my biological father in a spiritual sense. I really do. And all matters, all things that concern spiritually. And now let me explain to you why this is important. Because your soul is important. Your soul is valuable to God. You understand what I'm saying? Just like, watch this, just like your life is valuable to your parents, your soul is valuable to your spiritual father. And that's why it's valuable for you to really have a spiritual father, a covering. Okay, my daddy covered me. My biological daddy, if you mess with his son, he bringing the guns out. Same way with my spiritual father. If you mess with my spirit and how I'm moving in the realm of God, guess what? He may bring the guns out. And one of the things you have to understand, and I'm so serious about this, is that, listen, you cannot operate in life and not operate the same in your spirit realm. Okay? And there's no such thing as a step spiritual father. You see what I'm saying? A father is a father. You can have mentors in the spirit realm. Okay? When you have a step spiritual father, they're called mentors. They're called mentors. They're not, I'm just giving you the terminology, all right? But we have to give a shout out to our spiritual fathers, because some spiritual fathers, believe it or not, act as real fathers. Real talk. Some spiritual fathers act as real fathers, because some of the people that they are fathering have never had a legitimate father. I'm telling you guys the truth. Some people that got spiritual fathers have never had a real father. They do not know. So the spiritual father acts as a natural father in the sense, and the spiritual father. Real talk. So we got to give a shout out to spiritual fathers. And it matters. It matters. Because sometimes you're not dealing with something naturally, you're dealing with something spiritual. You're dealing with spiritual warfare. And a lot of times we don't like identifying the spiritual warfare that we go through. That's why you need a spiritual father, because 9 times out of 10, that spiritual father has dealt with warfare that you're dealing with right now. Just like in the natural sense, 9 times out of 10, your father, your natural father, your biological father has dealt with those things that you're going through right now. You ever had your parents say, "I've been through more than you'll ever go through"? And that's why it's imperative. That's why it's important to have fathers, to grow up with fathers, not just naturally, but supernaturally. A lot of us grow up supernatural. A lot of us grow up spiritually without a father. A lot of us grow up spiritually without a father. And everybody always tell me, well, I'm covered by God. Well, you have to understand your true relationship with God. The only reason you have a relationship with God, in other words, the only reason you are sanctified in God, which means you are set apart because of God, is because of Christ. The only reason redemption and reconciliation can happen is because of Christ. To be reconciled, watch this, means to take two alienated parties and bring them together. But the only way they can be brought together is by a mediator. That's the only reason you are reconciled in order to have a relationship with God, is because of Christ. So you can't really say, well, God is, yes, you understand, respect, note, and learn God. But you need to have a mediator, because your flesh is not worthy enough to walk in the presence or be in the presence or operate in the presence of God. So you need someone that is operating on your behalf to teach you, grow you, groom you, and to develop you so that you can prepare yourself to operate fully and sufficiently and efficiently in the presence of God. You understand what I'm saying? And that's why spiritual fathers are necessary. The same way a biological father is necessary. They're necessary because you need someone to teach you how to walk in life, to talk in life, to stand in life, to be able to go through things in life. Not because you won't have to do it, but because now you are better prepared when you deal with things that life will bring with you. So when warfare comes, your spiritual father prepares you for what warfare will bring. The reason why we get into warfare is because we don't like being tutored by our spiritual fathers. Real talk. Because if they're truly your spiritual father, guess what? They've already been through warfare that you're going through right now. Okay? I'm just giving you guys types of fathers because, once again, growing up without a father, does it really matter? Of course, on both naturally and spiritually. You can't have a natural father and don't have a spiritual father. It doesn't make sense. Because what is covering your soul? What is covering your soul? My biological father grew up Muslim in the Nation of Islam. He didn't believe in the death, burial, and resurrection of Jesus Christ growing up. You understand what I'm saying? So my soul was in jeopardy if I would have tried to accept my natural father as a spiritual father. You understand? He was not he was versed in the Bible. But once again, he looked at Christ as a prophet. The same way we look at Moses and Joshua and all these other, that's how he looked at him growing up. Now, he eventually became Methodist and eventually, holiness, and then, he converted. But you can't have a spiritual father that has what the Bible calls a wavering mindset. So you have to get a spiritual father that's rooted in the Word of God. The same way you got to get a natural father that's rooted in life. Okay? So listen, guys, I hope this has been a great show for you guys. I pray that you learned some things out of it. Listen, I encourage you guys, as I go to my final thought, I encourage you guys to look at the aura of presence. I'm telling you right now. Real quickly, let's go over my final thought, guys, before I get out of here. My final thought, man. Listen. Before I do anything, man, you guys make sure that you follow me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, my new YouTube channel, Dr. Hollie Mayes Network. Go check it out. I need you guys to subscribe. We got a lot of new shows coming for you guys on the network of YouTube. And listen, I want you guys to join me. But listen, my final thought is this, guys. Fathers matters. Fathers matter. Okay? And listen, I'm not taking nothing away from mothers. We all know everybody love their mother, but fathers matter. And I'm not just talking about biological fathers. I'm talking about natural fathers. If your son or your daughter does not have their natural father in their life, hey, listen, you should not create any barrier for that man to be in the life of his children at all. Matter of fact, you should be tying a rope and pulling that situation together. I don't care if he don't call. You call him. You do whatever it takes to make sure that natural father is in that child's life. Because guess what? Their life depends on it. And guys, make sure that you cover yourself spiritually with a spiritual father. Your spiritual life depends on it, okay? Listen, guys, I love you guys with the love of the Lord. Remember to uplift Christ wherever you go, and do me a favor, make the rest of your day the best of your day. Y'all go outside in Dallas, if you're in Dallas, and enjoy this beautiful day, man. I love you, man. I'm out of here. Peace.